you what happened to my Technique 1. Now, if you remember, when I put that stain on this page, it was really dark, and it brought out the texture. And here you can still kind of see it, but it's really graded. And I'm going, what happened to my dark stain? It's gone. Well, I flipped the page. On this one, I flipped the page. There's my stain. It must have found, now I had gessoed this page, but of course when you gesso it, unless you put on a heavy coat of gesso, you're not going to block everything. And my stain seeped through to the opposite side, and it's no longer here. Because this is acrylic, it seeped through, it found the places that were not gessoed and seeped through the paper. So, an interesting page over here, though, for those of us who love pareidolia. I might go back and do something with that. I'll have to think about that just a little bit more. But I want to do something more with this page because of what happened here. Not that I don't like it, but I don't think that I achieved exactly what Cat Hand was demonstrating. My texture is because of a thick paint. I did not add water to this page. And so I have a nice thick layer of textured paint, and it picked up the texture on the page. And then when I put my stain on it, I brought out that texture. But Cat Hand moistened her page and used a really wet, juicy paint and added the wrap. If you go back and look at her technique, and then that left the little white line. So I tried it again last night, and this is what I got on one page. And I think I'm going to leave this page as it is because I do think that I did achieve some of the white lines coming through here. This is a gessoed page, and I do think this more nearly demonstrates the technique that Cat Hand demonstrated. But I do think if I were to want to perfect this, I would have to do it several times. Now I gessoed this with white, and I'm going to leave this page just as it is as an example of what I did. This page I gessoed with black. And you see some of the black coming through, especially on the edges, especially right in there. A little bit in there. It's a very textured page. I must not have this page as wet. I want to go ahead and do Technique 2. My wax paper. Now, you should probably go to Cat Hand's video and look at what she did with Technique 2. I'm not going to film the process of me doing this. I'm going to do it, and then I'm going to come back and talk about it. So I'll see you in the next segment. Okay, here's my finished collage. It's all nice and dry. Nothing fancy. Scraps and wallpaper paste. It's nice to be able to use them up. I got scraps for my scraps. I've already started putting my initial on it, but I thought that I would stop and film that part. Is nice and dry. I really do like this. I really do like it. It's got a lot of texture to it, but I do like it a lot. Now, this is Technique 2, and this was Technique 1, my redo of Technique 1. I really like this. I'm going to work on this side, but I want to go back to my first technique one, and I showed you where my stain fell into the other side here of the page. It just soaked right through. I showed you that previously. Well, I decided I'm going to take some liberties with this page. I'm still going to use my handy wrap, but I'm going to put it into, I'm going to crinkle it up like this. I want it nice and crinkly so I get texture. And I'm just going to put it into some paint and blot. And I think I will use white paint. Okay, I am going to take apart my book because my pages are getting very painty, and if I don't take it apart now, it's going to get all glued together. So I'm going to remove my pages, or at least remove the pages as I work on them. These are my first few pages. You can see how, well, this one soaked through. And this is the variation page. It's all nice and dry now. And this is the page that I did for the fine liner, just to use it. This is my Technique 1 page. I'm very happy with how this came out. This was a redo. And then this is Technique 2, where we did the collage and the big initial, and I'm very happy with this. I really do like this one. And then this is the opposite page. I'm doing 2-page spreads, and then on one side of the page I'm going to have the technique, and then on the other side of the page I'll have how the technique is used. What I'm going to do is I cut some, and I don't know if you can see these. They're kind of like a triangular piece of transparency. Maybe if I hold it up to here, you can see it sort of there. See, it's triangular. I am going to use some score tape and just mount that on one side of the page or the other. Let's do it right now so you can see what I mean. This Seven Gypsies book band that I'm keeping everything together until we get all the pages filled, and then I will close everything up and rebind it. Maybe do something to the cover. So here is Technique 1 right here. I have my little index card that describes it. Little acrylic pocket folder here. I'll probably do something to the back of these index cards later on. Maybe a stamp of some, maybe I'll carve a stamp called Mixed Media Morsels, and then I'll put a technique number on it. And then this is my variation. This was my first try at the Technique 1, and I ended up not liking it, so I took and crumbled up my saran wrap and stamped over it. And now I like it. Put the index card in there. This is how I used it here. I really do like this page. I love this page, in fact. I like the effect of it. And then this is technique 2 that we just finished, and I like this one too. And then technique 2 has a little pocket here to hold the description of it. But I really do like how these have turned out. I will see you on the next page.